Saadiq ranks monologues and conversations navigating Wall Street as an intern. Here we go. I know you wait for me, darling, don't you wait for me. I can see the promise. Yeah. If y'all didn't know, I've been interning on Wall Street for the last 2 summers. It's very professional, suit and tie-esque, cutthroat, but at the same time, it's like it breaks you down mentally, it breaks you down physically. You're doing 12 to 16-hour days for me, right? You're learning some of the most complex products that people have years in time to learn about, and they're questioning you on questions that, they themselves can answer, but they're looking for you to see how you're going to answer it, see if you can answer it. You're fighting with how people perceive you. I have this nose piercing right here. I have these 2 earrings. I have my fro out. So and I got these beads going right here. But at the end of the day, it's like it's important because you are being perceived any which way. And you have to understand the bounds and the game that you're playing. And if you don't understand it, it's going to clip you quickly. Guessing whether or not I've got something to offer since I done eluded poverty, or has the money watered me down? That truth is hard for me. Like the second time I got cut from the junior varsity, fighting back tears. I promised to switch gears and said to myself, whatever you do, you won't do it partially.
What's up, y'all? My name is Alpha Berry. I'm a rising junior at Georgetown. I just finished my internship at a major investment bank. It was one of the hardest 10 weeks of my life.
All right. First of all, why finance? Go ahead.
This is like the full interview question. The markets are genuinely interesting to me because regardless of how smart you are, you could never figure it out. You never know why something moves a certain way, and it's almost this sense of
volatility,
right? And I think that's one of the cool things. It's also a good way to track public opinion. So I like talking to people. I like getting the understanding of not only what people think, but why they think a certain way. And that's one of the cool things with the markets. It's almost one way to quantify it all.
It's cool because I was able to build up a set of skills of just adulting, right? And those set of skills is not necessarily just like, oh yeah, I could look up a stock, I could value a stock, I could figure out why this company makes money and how to be able to pitch this and package it in a way that makes you want to buy it. But it's also like it teaches you accountability. It teaches you responsibility. At the end of the day, you need to wake up at 5, be there by 6, be there before other people are there, and have a smile on your face every single day. Because at the end of the day, that's what they do. And it works as a junior level until you build up. And as an intern, you're the most junior level.
I guess that's the one thing. For me, it was really figuring out what I want to do and what I like. And now that it's almost like 2020 vision now, things seem a lot simpler than they were at the moment. And I think part of that is because I just let my confidence go. That's what it really goes back to. That's what it all revolves around.
It literally all revolves around confidence.
And people make fun of the people that could pump their chest and do all that stuff, but they make everyone else believe that they believe in themselves. So as a result, it makes it easy for them to believe them. Versus if you're scared of your own shadow, which is the way someone said it,
yeah,
it's hard for someone to even believe in you.
No, for real. And it's like, I can't even describe to you the importance of just walking around with a smile on your face and walking with a purpose, right? Just walking through the different aisles and stuff like that and people seeing you with a smile on your face, acting like you got it, already does 40% of the work.
See, that's one of the parts that was hard for me because I'm not. If you know me, I'm a pretty happy person and I talk to you. But if you see me walking around this is my face. So it's not one of the most friendly faces.
Yeah.
But whenever I spend time and I start talking about something that I'm passionate about or I'm really interested in, or someone else is telling me something that they're really interested and passionate about, and I start smiling.
From this day forward, I move with a new ferocity. Ferrari coupe velocity, a fail-proof philosophy. Success is in the effort, so if a nigga tried his hardest, I'm at peace knowing God ain't dealing in this group of cars for me. Some people say that I'm running third, they threw the bronze at me. Behind Drake and Dot, yeah, them niggas is superstars to me.
How's it going? What am I actually doing? Right? So, I'll tell you right now, It's July 23rd. I made a decision last year, but the idea was like, if you're gonna commit to something, you're gonna do something, you're gonna do it right, and you're gonna do it the best, because that's just how I was raised and that's how I move. So it's like, when I committed to this, it was like, all right, like, no, I'm going for the harder desk. I'm learning this product in and out. I'm learning this place in and out. How a bank actually makes money. What's the cause of the bank? I didn't go to business school, bro. So like, a lot of this is actually new information. And when I say just new information, it's like, yeah, everybody knows what a bank does, but do they actually know like what all these huge corporations and asset managers and hedge funds, where this money is coming from, how are they trading? We're the ones who facilitates that type of trade. So within sales and trading, there's so many different desks, there's so many different aspects of the business, but overall, what I kind of do as an intern is that I just show up every day with the best discipline, the most grit that I could have, pitch ideas, read up on stocks and stuff like that, be able to speak about different pitch ideas, macro events. This week I have a project of like figuring out the macro events and stuff like that, what's going to happen, the projected and estimates what I think is going to happen because of that as a result. And like, this is what I'm coming up with like in different things that I'm doing, right? But overall, like, this summer has been kicking my ass. And let me not say that, actually, I've been kicking my summer's ass for real. Like I haven't messed up. Have I excelled to my potential? No. But have I pushed myself to that point where I can only excel? Yes. Like, I've literally put in so much work in the last couple of weeks that like, I barely saw my girlfriend. The only people I saw was mainly in that building, in my guys and stuff like that, because my guys are literally in the building as well. So it's just sick that like, we have a lot of camaraderie with that, but at the same time, like, this is not no joke. Like, this is not a joke. This is like some of the hardest stuff I've ever done in my life, but at the same time, I'm growing exponentially.
How do you look at like navigating Wall Street now? Like, what is your perspective on it?
Relationships are everything. A part of it is like, you have to do the work and you got to be competent, but you also have to understand that the world revolves around who you know, and it's not as important about what you know, right? And you got to find the people who are willing to mentor you, but then you got to also find the people that are going to sponsor you, and they got to have enough say and enough leverage where A, they could be honest with you and let you know what the situation is looking like, and B, they'll be able to fight for you whenever you're not there, because there's a lot of conversations that happen that you're not going to hear and you won't even know happened. Also, the more mentors and sponsors that you could build throughout the floor, the better it is for you. I think that was one of the tough things at first. If you know me naturally, I'm someone who, I'm pretty loud, but whenever you first meet me, I'm pretty quiet. I'm a quiet person. I like getting the sense of who's around me, what you care about, what type of person you are. Almost sense out the vibes first. Then I'll open up my full self, versus the expectations was, hey, day one, you gotta come in and you gotta
be a shark.
Yeah, you gotta be ready to produce. And producing is not necessarily in work, but start making those relationships as soon as possible, even if it's just like scheduling a 20-minute coffee chat with someone. For me, that was honestly weird. Like, randomly just reaching out to someone and saying, hey, can I please talk to you for 20 minutes? Because the way I am, and I think this is why I enjoyed the trading floor a little bit more, it was, hey, I'm busy right now, but come back in 5 minutes and pull a chair and come sit right next to me. That felt more natural and organic to me.
This is another piece of advice. They're like, are you learning? Are you growing? Right? Are you having impact? And are you happy? And those are the questions that you need to ask yourself when you're in a job and when you're in a career and or progressing. Because at the end of the day, that's the most important, I guess, four avenues of purpose. And if you don't have that purpose, then it might be a decision on whether you should leave or not.
Out of those 4 questions, do you think, how many of the 4 did you check?
I at least checked 3. One is a toss-up. But at the end of the day, it's like, we're in our early stages of life, early stages of career. Are you going to have that impact?
Yeah. So, I guess.
And at the end of the day, if I'm doing stuff like this, then I am having that impact.
That's true. I think this impact is so different for each person.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that I really noticed. Wall Street gets a really bad rep in the sense that people think that it's all really selfish, self-serving,
Yeah.
money-hungry people.
Yeah.
But that's really not true. Sure, they worked hard and they're able to get the fruits of their labor.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, they're a part of a bunch of different like nonprofits and charities and volunteer work on their free time.
Yeah.
But I think some of the best ways to have impact is by mentoring the next generation of people. It means a lot to have someone that's really respected in their industry be able to say, hey, if you ever need anything, like reach out. Regardless of it's just you need a referral, it's not just like, hey, I need a referral for this job. It's, hey, I'm thinking about making this move. Does this make sense?
Does this make
or
sense? Yeah.
Do you have any insights? I think that's impact.
I didn't play the game as strategic as I should have played it. It's not that I didn't understand the concepts. Like this summer, I really understood the concepts. This summer, I really built some long-lasting connections, and I really understood the business. How does a bank make money? In which ways do we, as I was in institutional equities, in what ways does institutional equities make money for this firm? And I could say that I was pretty successful in learning those things. I just wasn't successful in playing the game as well, and that's almost 65% of it. You know, like learning is cool and that but the idea is that they'll teach you on the job. They want to see if they can sit next to you, and I didn't play to my likability strengths as I should have. I've become a better man. I've become a better learner. You know, everybody wants you as a junior person, as a young person, to be coachable. I became very, very coachable. That feedback, I was able to take the worst feedback, and turn it into something where somebody supports me the next week. I was very adamant on, all right, I took this in, even if it's terrible, like, man, like you, not even just you need to pick it up, like this desk said no. Why? You got to explain why. All right, well, this is what I heard. How you cross-reference that? What do you think about that? And you have to have answers. If they ask you, my mentor asked me to pitch right now, tomorrow, pitch what you know right now, tell me. And I'll fumble through that right there, but at the end of the day, like, he's looking at me, he's looking through my eyes, and he's saying, what are you going to do? Are you going to show me? Are you going to rise to this occasion? You know? And that teaches me a lot about work, about diligence, about, like, accountability, like, knowing you have something on the line. How do you react to that? And although I didn't get my offer, you know, like, I've learned and created so many different connections just across the street and across different divisions. And even, like, my pack of interns as well. Like, I got dogs now. Like, I got dogs that, like, I know is going to run a hedge fund, run multiple different types of businesses, CFOs, CIOs, like, CFOs, chief financial officer, CIOs, chief investment officer, like people like this that are going to literally move markets, move the world, move money. And if this is not my industry, which I'm still coming to terms with that today, I know that I've made somewhat of a mark. And it's not necessarily a mark that like, oh, I made a mark on Wall Street and stuff like that, but I have an imprint on people that they know what I can do. They know I can rise to the occasion. And I have great references as not just like my mentor, but like head of desks, head of client, whatever, you know, like that. Like people that are like very respected on Wall Street, because at the end of the day, they know who I am, you know, and they know that I'm a worker. They know that I'm a dreamer, I'm a visionary, and I connect a lot of people and connect dots very quickly. And those are some things that I just am happy with myself. I'm proud of myself. You know, even if I didn't get this, like, I'm super proud of myself. I'm a media major. Some of these people live, eat, breathe, sleep, finance since they were grown up. You know, I connected a lot to more of like the black people, obviously, within my groups. And even like talking to them, I'm the only one that came from public school. Like, you don't even realize how, like, I found this out 2 weeks ago, that I'm realizing, like, every single person, all the black men, I don't know about the black woman, I have to ask, all the black men that came from my program, not even just within equities, but also within fixed income, came from boarding schools. $60,000 a year, high school boarding schools, then going into college, building all these different connections where they're going to the same schools that even like the CEO went to, you know? And I had to come to terms with that as well. I'm like, dang, like I'm not even playing with, I'm thinking that even within the diversity, I have a space and I have kind of like relatability, and I do, but there's also still a level that I'm playing with. 40%, probably like 50-60% of our intern class has connections on Wall Street. And I don't just say connections, it's like like I reached out on LinkedIn. No, they have family members on Wall Street. They have family members within the building, within the division, on the floor. And I'm just happy that I can hold my own. To my guys, shout out to the bank that I work at. Shout out to all the connections I made. I know some people will be watching this, and shout out to y'all as well, because you've helped me throughout, and now you're like seeing me in different lights and stuff like that. And it does not mean that I don't want to work within the industry. It just means that I'm multifaceted at different times, but I do commit. That's something I've been learning. Love y'all. Saadiq Ranks. Monologues and Conversation. Like, subscribe, do whatever you need to do. But just keep following the journey. If you're on the same type of journey, bro, I'm telling you, it's gonna work out. You just gotta have some self-conviction. Listen to you, whatever. I'll listen to my Jay-Z, You Lost One. Love y'all. And stick to your guns.
You gotta stick it until one day you eventually are the one that's rewriting the rules.